back in the late '90s, I was buying bikes. I was on that kick. So I bought a '98 Heritage FLSTS. I love Springers. Bought a brand new when that came out, the black and blue. It matched my '28 Hupmobile perfectly color wise. It was just cool. I bought a brand new Royal Star. Had to have one of those. Brand new Valkyrie. Had to have one of those. Already had Honda Shadow and Yamaha Bragos and a whole host of other things. But the Excelsior Henderson, because it was new, it was a Springer, and I mean, it just had all the hallmarks of something that I was just gonna fall in love with and enjoy, which I did. So that's and I read all the news magazine articles and Cycle World and everything else. But I talked to the owner of Great Lakes Motorsports, Mike Kennedy, and said, I want the first one that comes in. And so I put a deposit on it. When the bike showed up in the crate, we uncrated it, and I had a chance to put hands on it and put the battery in and do all the other things. And upon firing it up for the first time, I thought it was out of oil. The valve train was so noisy, and we refer to that as sounding agricultural. It's not a good thing. So after trying to check the oil for what appeared to be 20 minutes and never getting the same reading twice, and being deathly afraid that this motor had something goofy with it, right? I mean, the valve train noise just seemed unacceptable. So I passed on the bike. So that was the first part. Later that year, in fact, this would have been right after the bankruptcy, the comptroller at Kirk Manufacturing in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, I'd done dealings with him, and he took 10 bikes in trade. This is when Excelsior was struggling. They didn't have the cash to buy the sprockets necessary to build bikes, so they traded 10 brand new bikes in lieu of payment. And the comptroller was a friend of mine, and we made a deal. I just said, give me the highest serial number bike. My brother and I headed out to Minneapolis, loaded the bike up in a brand new black Dodge truck with this beautiful black Excelsior in the crate, headed over to Belle Plaine, and had the good fortune of and again, at this point they were going through bankruptcy, and this would have been St. Patrick's Day 2000. And there was a little sign on the door with a phone number. We called, and Dave Danielson came down, met us at the door, and I showed him. I said, "Hey, we're just like enthusiasts here. Got brand new bikes sitting in the crate right there in the parking lot." He said, and I said, "We just want to come in and look around for a minute. We'll get out of your hair." He spent the whole afternoon. We got a chance to meet. Let's see, Tony Pink, who was sort of the key designer with regard to a lot of the sort of the design element on the paint schemes, et cetera, on the bike, and Terry Hanlon. Well, we also got a chance to meet and talk with him. But the extraordinarily part of this was Dave Danielson took the at least an hour, gave us a tour of the assembly plant. That was just the coolest thing in the world. My brother and I are both engineers, and just to me it was the coolest thing ever. So we actually got a chance to sign the book in the atrium, the guest book, and then spend the whole day. And it was just so cool. I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, he was showing us all the bits and pieces and explaining what everything was about, and giving us, sort of and in fact, I remember, to quote Dave Danielson, he was explaining about some of the bolts being coated with pre-coat 80. And he said, and I quote, pre-coat 80, when you put it in a fastener and lock it down, it is one with the universe. He was so right about that. But I mean, at the time, man, it was just such a cool experience. And to see redwoods hanging on the line, unfinished bikes, it was awesome. So my first bike, 1295 black 99 Super X. It was so cool because Dave was explaining all the different things, and we got to see every part of it. And I asked him, I said, is there anything in particular I need to be concerned about with this bike? And Dave said, no, just ride it and enjoy it. And I needed so badly to hear that, since, they were a startup company, had never built anything. And my fear was, this was going to be a cantankerous pile of nuts and bolts. Although I loved it as a beautiful work of art, I wanted to enjoy it more than that. And you know what? That's absolutely come to be true in so many different ways, right? The people I've met, the experiences we've all shared, the fun that we get a chance periodically to get together and tease each other about getting older and fatter and saying hello to new friends that come into the community. We're just caretakers for a short period of time, and I understand that, and I'm glad to say that I've done my part to try to help and leave them better than I found them.